I'm manning the control boards. I'm like on the Nebuchadnezzar in the Matrix, just 15 monitors, each one of them a different image, microphones.
And Felipe's fed us all our bits and stuff, and he tells us when to speak, and he raises our levels.
Us the bits. He just sets us up and then leaves us out there, and we had to figure it out for ourselves.
No, I send out bits like bottles and like messages inside of bottles out into the ocean, and I hope that you find them. And and I don't get anything back.
Oh, what's this sticky note above my computer? Okay, talk in a French accent.
Brother, if that was the bit I was feeding you, game over.
You know,
if that was the shit that I was trying to get you guys to do.
It was going to be an accent from like somewhere in the global south, but then I thought, that's not, I don't want to make a racist joke, so I made it a French accent. So, but it has less teeth.
It does have less teeth.
We also did accents episode 1. That was difficult for me, and I don't want to circle back on it. Something exciting that's happening right now at my apartment, just outside of my window right here. The backyard is technically not mine. I just happen to live in the rear first floor unit, so nobody else comes back here though, and it's full of my outdoor furniture. But just now, 3 people walked out there to hang out, and I'm so excited that the other people are using it. They can probably see me, but I'm gonna try not to look out at them so that they feel like I'm not watching them.
And they're so excited to see that you're doing a podcast.
Bring them on the pod, Sarah.
I'm gonna open the window and bring them on the pod.
Bring them on the pod. See what they have to say about living in your building, your your management company, whether they're happy with the rent they're paying.
If they're scared to go in the basement. Yeah.
Damn, I wish we had an outdoor space, me and Sam.
Sarah, when you like get dressed and stuff, do you always close the shades on your
No, I only have
windows? Oh, they're transparent.
Yeah,
shades.
Transparent curtains anyway, so I'm fully just naked for whoever can see through my window, yeah. But
I don't need to be getting undressed in order to want to throw up my curtain, because I have this very intense stand-up desk one time, and it's got like cables coming out of it and like my drawing tablet, and these teens walked by and they started roasting me for my setup.
What?
They were like, I could hear them. They were looking into my room and they were being like, yo, look at this guy. They were making fun of me. So,
I'm afraid that this is a bit and I don't want to step on it, but
no,
your windows are so blocked by chain and wire and caging that I don't see how a teen could see through into anything that was going on.
I ask myself the same thing every day, and yet here I am, humiliated.
Felipe, I think it's cool the way you live. And even though it fills you with immense shame, and even though you have a Zoom background to hide whatever's going on in your room,
yo, look at this dude in his little cloister with his post-it notes on the
sweet
wall.
Little Christmas lights.
Yeah. Look at this dude in that room that smells like farts, and his laundry that he does in the bathtub because he's too afraid to go to the laundromat.
Wow.
That's what they're saying.
But his animations rock.
Yeah,
and
they're like,
drawing.
yeah. On the other hand, his animations rock. Like, yeah, you're right. Maybe we should stop roasting him.
His Instagram stories are really funny.
Yeah, and I've been playing the guitar, and I just get embarrassed if people like walk by and they see me playing the guitar. Because
you play it like this.
I do play it like that, and that is certainly embarrassing. Also, just simply playing the guitar, that's embarrassing enough. I don't need anybody to see that.
I remember being a freshman in college, and there was a girl, this very, very beautiful woman who it was like one of those shows outside where different bands from the college were playing outside, and there was this one girl who was she was from France, and she was very pretty, and she did this 15-minute set where she was just singing quietly on a guitar. And everybody in the audience was roasting her behind her back.
Saying
and
what?
Nice.
Just it's lame to be a pretty girl on a guitar and stuff like that.
No, it's not.
Oh, I thought they were roasting her for being quiet.
No, they were roasting. They were like, "This is so boring. This is so uninteresting."
No.
And
That's
I was
evergreen. To be a pretty girl playing the guitar, how could that be uncool? Through all of history, that's been cool.
Yeah, well, it was the first time I memorably where I like palpably felt I was like, "Oh wow, this I'm not supposed to be liking what I'm watching." Even though
And yet I do, and yet I'm so drawn.
Right,
and yet I'm so drawn to this woman.
Yeah.
What's
And
wrong
yet
with this? What the hell's wrong with this?
Hey, you go up to her, you're like, "Hey, listen, my friends were making fun of you, but I actually think you're really cool." And she's like, "What? Your friends were making fun of me?" Yeah, your friends were saying that the shit you were doing sucked, but I don't think it sucks at all. I think it's actually really cool.
Yeah, it's really cool when you were playing "Hey There, Delilah" at 4 decibels or whatever, so no one could hear you.
It does sound bad.
That's funny. That makes me think of like the first open mic I ever went to in high school. Maybe I was in like 10th grade or something, and it was in someone's basement, like in their laundry room. And someone played "Tallest Man on Earth" on acoustic guitar, and I was just like, "This is the coolest thing that's like ever happened to me." And I've never been able to like go to another open mic and feel as like purely transported by like how awesome I thought it was to like watch someone play a cover of a pretty song. It was sad.
I remember
like chasing
going,
a high.
Felipe, remember when we went to that open mic in Providence that was like at a cafe and
Horrific.
people were playing guitar? Yeah.
Horrific.
I think that was the first open mic I ever went to.
Yeah, me too. Terrible. I remember it. It was I not only because you can bomb. There's like a floor of bombing which is 0 laughs. But not only did I bomb, but there was something sort of like an infection. It was like less than 0. Like there was something insidious and negative about how bad my set was.
Yeah. Wow.
Like I managed to dip below 0 laughs. There were 0
Damn.
laughs plus something much worse.
and also like your girlfriend's there,
Wait, was Sarah there? No, Sarah
horrible
missed
like
it.
that.
Sarah missed it.
Thank
I feel
God.
like there was someone there who was
who was there that I was really humiliated and I really respect, and I think I was like, they saw me do something horrible.
abject.
was Kent.
Oh, yes.
And I always think,
Yeah.
wow, Kent saw me debase myself. Kent saw me do something like truly horrific, and maybe that's why he didn't, text me back when I said I was thinking of him kind of a year later, and I hoped that he was doing well wherever he was.
Wow. Was he a cool guy?
Kent is a cool guy.
He is a cool guy.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
Friend of ours. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how he feels about me at this point.
Felipe's burned all the bridges of all the comedians we were friends with in college.
Yeah. You're not wrong. You're not wrong about that.
I'm laughing because we're like quickly getting into a subject area that would just not be able to be talked about on the podcast, and so
Because you're not gonna name names, and
it's
I'm
you
really
can't bring
the
up
only. I'm
college
really
beef.
no. You can't, and I'm really well. Number one, I'm really the only one that looks bad. I have nothing bad to say about anybody, but
amazing.
more importantly, it's not interesting to anybody unless we could bring a nice, colorful anecdote. I don't think, you don't know these people. Who cares?
Yeah.
Ultimately, who
It's
cares?
true. Well, let me ask you this, guys. What can you either of you remember a moment in your life where you gave a piece of advice that was really, really bad?
Do you have one that inspired this question while I try to think? That doesn't immediately make me think of anything.
One time this guy was telling me in high school that he was depressed as he was like driving me home from a rehearsal, and I was like immediately went into like brain solving mode where I was like, yeah, dude, well, I mean, it's not a problem that your dad's bipolar. Like, you just gotta like stand up for yourself or whatever, or like saying like just terrible shit that whatever like a sophomore in high school would think would be like a way to solve what was probably a a deep-rooted set of psychological problems that this person, my friend, was dealing with. And I thought I was just like, I just thought I was bringing an ice pick like perfectly right into the center of the problem and solving
You're right.
it.
This isn't a problem. You're right. I should stand up for myself.
And then when he dropped me off, he was like, well, this didn't really make me feel good. Like, I don't think there's really any solutions to this, but I don't know. I just don't think I think I'm going to try and talk to someone else about this.
That's good that he told you.
Yes.
He straight up told you.
I was like, I really bombed.
That was bullshit. I'm letting you know now. Don't do this again with other people. Don't try
funny.
this. Don't try saying these things to someone who's depressed again.
Has that changed the way you give advice to people now?
Absolutely. Well, there's two kinds of things you can do. I think there's sort of like, there's prescriptive advice, which sometimes people are looking for, which is like, what do you, Sam, think I should do about this problem that I'm having? And then there's like a kind of there's another kind of advice or way you can be with someone when they're sharing a problem, which is just like a mirror for them. Like you can just be like, oh, here's what you're saying. And all you do is just repeat what they're saying back to them in different words. And they're just like, yes, this is very helpful. Yes. And they just they're just trying to think something out. And you're like the way that they're thinking it out through.
You could also start freaking out about their problem more than them and start crying and like heaving and getting so worked up that they have to help you. And they
That could be cathartic.
Yeah.
Or
That's so bad. Fuck. Oh my God.
filter it through some sort of problem you're having.
Yeah.
And then start describing your problem.
But the key is that you have to
advice.
freak out. You have to really freak out, so they have to take care of you.
Dude, my dad's more bipolar than your dad.
You saying that your dad's bipolar made me realize that that's what's wrong with my dad. I just figured it out. Fuck.
Yeah, that's funny. I always I've been reading advice columns in the newspaper for like the last 17 or 18 years. And like the number one rule of advice columns that comes up all the time is like, you're not allowed to give anyone advice unless they explicitly ask for it. Like they have to literally ask you for advice. Even if they're telling you about a problem, if it doesn't end with them being like, what should I do? You should never say what you think they should do. And I've always just like, I guess most people don't know that rule, but to me, that's a rule. And anytime anybody gives me advice I don't ask for, it boils my blood instantly. It pisses me off. Like, even when I know I have like set them up perfectly so that the only thing they can do is give me advice, if I don't ask for it and someone gives it to me, it really makes me mad.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you're not supposed to give advice. You're supposed to do like the kind of empathetic listening thing. But
yeah,
sometimes I've gotten advice where someone's like, hey, like shape up. And they're like, it's very clear what you're doing and it's not right. And then I'll be like, you're right. You know, you need, sometimes I think it's true that I try to never give advice. I try to. But sometimes, sometimes people need a strong hand.
Totally. One time I was having troubles with my girlfriend, and one time my mom just straight up told me what she thought about my girlfriend. And I was like,
Sam, your girlfriend, she's got beautiful tits. She's got a nice big ass.
She's got a great ass.
She's so hot. So much sex appeal.
You should take her out to a nice steak dinner. Treat her right.
Buy her something
you don't
nice.
Know how to spend on a woman.
Sam, buy her something nice.
What did she actually say? I thought the bit was funny, but...
Thanks.
And Sarah, do you have anything to add to the bit? Like just like a voice, or what would my mom say if she were like that?
You should take her apple picking if it's fall, because people love to go to the orchard.
Good.
Yeah.
Nice. And any like a little spin on your own, like do you want to do like a voice for her?
No.
Okay.
All right, hold on. Wait, hold on. I'm just gonna. Hold on. Sarah didn't want to do the voice. She didn't want to do the bit.
I didn't.
And the time code is 8:94. Sarah didn't want to do the bit where Sam's mom is saying, girlfriend fat ass and
I
copy.
promise I'll do the next one. You just tell me when it's happening and I'll do it.
Cross it out.
And Felipe, can I have sesame chicken?
Sesame chicken.
Oh fuck! This is another bit. Fuck.
Tofu burger.
And Sarah, what?
And
What?
I'm
Sarah,
skipping
what
this
do you-
one too. I'm skipping
what
this
do
one
you
too.
want?
Tofu dog.
Bit is skipped.
Liking the bits. Figuring out where it's leading to. Oh
So,
my gosh,
my
I'm
mom
feeling so
said-
tired. Go say it. What did your mom
My
say?
mom
What did
said
your fucking
that
mom say, Sam?
she was like, I think that you spend a lot of time doing a lot of caretaking for your girlfriend, and I think there's a lot of sort of self sort of work and discovery that you need to do that should happen outside of this relationship. And I think that your girlfriend basically is like a big time suck for your self-discovery.
Wow.
I think the thing about advice, because often, you get advice that pisses you off. I think the thing about advice is if you ask a person enough questions about what's going on with them, they themselves will tell you what advice they want.
Totally.
Everybody knows what they want to hear. That's
and what
not
they want to do.
And that's
Yeah.
exactly, and that's not to say that people are deluded. Sometimes people have the correct idea and they just need to like process it. It's not like everybody just wants to hear like the rosy version of their world. But if you ask enough, like you'll find out what people want to hear from you. And that's
Yeah.
that on that.
Or I would
Mic
say
drop.
not what they. It's not what they people don't tell you what they want to hear from you, but it's like people actually, if you ask them enough questions, they inadvertently communicate to you what they need to hear. You find out what they need to hear,
Mic
not
drop.
what they want you
The
to say
mic has
to
been
them.
dropped. Knowledge has been laid down on the Raisin Man Twitch stream. #1 knowledge podcast.
So, you guys hear about what happened on the Breakfast Club this week?
We're moving just quickly through things that we know nothing about.
It's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, listeners, if you liked what we had to say about giving advice, you're definitely going to like what we have to say about what happened on the Breakfast Club this week.
I'll give Biden some advice. You shouldn't do that.
Biden, you're on
Yeah, listen to
notice.
this.
Joe
Yeah.
Biden, listen to me, Joe Biden. You're on notice.
Yeah. I'll give you some advice. People don't like the way you're acting, and it's making it hard for young people to know what to do. And we're waking up, we're feeling sad.
Big time. Biden needs to take undergrad class. He needs to get woked up.
Yeah. He needs to take one of those freshman seminars with just all the other freshmen where you kind of learn how to talk and get along. Yeah.
Biden needs to start
liberal
amplifying voices, and he's not doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not doing that.
But Felipe, you said this to me, and I think it's true, which is that
Wait.
this is precisely what's attractive about Joe Biden, is that he's like he's like a complete idiot, and
I think
absolutely destroys all the like fake liberal woke media stuff we've been told is important for the last like 6 years.
I'll say this. I think Trump has proven that actually, so common knowledge, common sense is that in order to be perceived as better and more liked, you have to be more intelligent and smoother. But Trump has proven that actually the graph is the other way. The stupider and worse you are, the better it's going to go for you. Like, you just have to max out. You have to max out the meter on how stupid and bad you are. And Biden, and we think that Biden doesn't understand what young people want, but he understands that he has to get the most stupid and bad that he can. And so actually he took a big W on the Breakfast Club by being just so stupid. That was a win for Biden. For us, coastal elites, it looked bad. For the rest of the country, Biden's doing 10 for 10.
Dude, that sort of makes sense. I mean, we're living in a country of people who are disillusioned about smart, good people. You know, they always just get pulled under by the waves eventually, like Gia Tolentino, which we'll get to that next.
Oh my God.
You know,
we got.
You try to be smart and good, but it never works.
She's on the chopping block. Gia Tolentino on the chopping block.
We can see her on the 40 in production line, like coming down to where we are, and where our mouths are already salivating, waiting to get her.
Oh, I got a few choice words for Gia Tolentino. Believe me. Wait, hold on. But you're saying people are disillusioned.
If you try to be smart and good, then you can only fail, right? Eventually. But if you try to be dumb and bad or accept being dumb and bad, then you won't ever be
beginner's
chopped
mindset
from underneath. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. Trump and Biden are like
race to the bottom. So
yeah, Trump and Biden are like Buddhist. They're like, I know nothing. And then and then that's
Totally.
the kernel of their wisdom.
Totally.
yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
They've actually they've stripped everything down into its pure essence. Feeling, perceiving, believing.
Yeah. You know what made me think that Biden, for the first time, I know people have been saying, oh, Biden won't win, he can't be president, but it wasn't really hitting me how much he won't win until, not the thing that happened on Breakfast Club, but until Shane Gillis tweeted. Did you guys see this tweet?
Yeah.
You know who Shane Gillis is, right? He was on Saturday Night Live, and Seth got him canceled.
Oh, big time.
And or he rejects that. I reject that narrative. You know, he got himself canceled, and Seth is just a platform amplifying voices.
He was amplifying voices. He was amplifying the voices of Shane Gillis saying a slur.
Guys, if we talk about this for 1 second longer, we're gonna get all the trolls on our Twitch stream that are now part of the
Nobody's
the
listening to
radio
the
hour.
Twitch stream, dude. we're not gonna get anyone on the Twitch stream.
Felipe, you'd be surprised. I was there for the troll takeover of the story hour last week or 2 weeks ago, and it was incredible. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that, or is that just not something you want to talk about?
No, we should talk about it for a second. It's funny. I don't know if Seth's listening to this right now.
He is, and he said Lauren canceled him. I made him famous. Fair. Fair. I'm not. I hope it didn't seem like I was going against Seth.
No way. We accept that as official narrative of the Raisin Man podcast, or at least my third of it.
And
what
my
was I
third
gonna
as
say?
well.
Oh yeah, it was maybe what was it? Seth, like 30 minutes before the show. I have another podcast where we just read stories and talk about them in a pretty earnest and anodyne way. And Seth was the guest. 30 minutes before we were gonna go on, Seth texted me and was like, "Hey, just so you know, I might post a link on Twitter, and if so, probably trolls will come." To the stream because they follow me everywhere around the internet, and I was like, LOL, that's okay, you don't have to post it then. And he was like, well, I already did. And lo and behold, like as soon as we started streaming, the feed was just full of people like release the 10,000 tweets, you know, people saying slurs, like all kinds of shit. My mom was watching. She texted me afterwards and she was like, I thought all those people in the comments were being very silly. But she couldn't figure out what they were talking about.
Release the emails.
That's so
God.
funny. That's so funny that people are bringing like right wing conspiracy culture to Seth Simons. Like
yeah.
he's deleted the tweets. Like ask him about Seth Rich.
Yeah, exactly. So all this just happened last week, which was sort of disturbing because I guess I knew, Seth, that this was happening to you, but then to really have it brought to my doorstep, I was like, I don't like this, and I wish it would stop.
I know. It was a bleak look into what I imagine Seth deals with on a daily basis.
And other internet activist people, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Trolls.
horrible.
Trolls, if you come to the chat, you're on notice. I'm getting each and every one of you.
And as an observer, I was like, oh, these people are clearly so stupid and silly. But then I was like, but if this was happening to me, I would be absolutely flipping out.
I would
I
cry.
would be.
Yeah.
I know. I would be crying all the time. Yeah.
Do you think so?
I got that one mean DM, which we obviously won't go into, in my comedy career since moving to New York, and I cried for like an hour.
Oh, big time.
So,
Yeah. It was from Felipe. Yes. He was like,
Yeah.
I remember.
Yeah,
I remember sending it.
That was me. That was me.
Say what you were saying about Biden, though, I think.
Oh, yeah. that Seth sent me this tweet that Shane had tweeted, like, I think the video of Biden on The Breakfast Club saying that shit, and he captioned it, "The same people who canceled me are gonna vote for this guy. Like, what the fuck?"
It's so funny. Wait, sorry, finish up, because I got...
It was just such an incorrect, like, he doesn't understand who he's talking about, even in his, like, incisive observation. Like, it doesn't make sense. Like, obviously the people that care about somebody doing a racist impression on a podcast aren't going to vote for Biden to be president. Like, that isn't the same people. But to think that Shane Gillis, who I see as being on kind of the opposite side of some certain line that I am, is also, like, not going to vote for Biden, I was like, whoa, fuck, this is really... the great unifier.
So you think that actually on the material plane, you and Shane Gillis are not so different?
Yeah, I suppose not. Yeah. It just disturbed me to think, like, I don't know. I guess because I was kind of hoping that, like, me and my friends won't vote for Biden, but, like, Trump still will lose. But if really everybody is, like, not going to vote for him, then...
We should have Seth and Shane on the podcast together, and they should talk
beef.
about how they're both going to vote for Bernie. Or, like, how their political views around the election are similar.
I think it's funny when people on Twitter are like, I just think it's interesting that the same people who say that astrology is bad also like eat their own shit or something. You know, it's like you make like a generalization about like a group of people, and I always see those and I think like, yeah, it's like, no.
Well,
next topic.
Yeah.
It's boring to talk about. It's boring to like call out like hypocritical like worldviews that are like really obvious.
No, I mean,
think.
I guess I'm just even beyond that. It's just like, it's hard to say who, like what you said, Sarah. It's like in our mind, Shane Gillis made up a category that doesn't exist. Like, no, those aren't the same people. You're talking about different people.
Right.
And he might be right that some of the people who canceled him might vote for Biden, but then the statement is meaningless because it's like, well, I guess some of the people will and some won't. So it's, as a generalization, is useless. And I think most often either people get it wrong or they describe a group that they believe exists. And so the generalization is useful only to the extent that other people are like, yeah, you're right, those people do suck. But it's like they're sort of like made up categories. I'm always really skeptical that like that people sort of share thoughts so uniformly.
Totally. Yeah. And it also just kind of makes me think of like how when I'm around in Brooklyn and I can tell that someone's wearing like a shirt they got from Urban Outfitters, that I distinguish that as being like different than like the shirt that I'm wearing right now, which I know that I got from like a boutique owned by a person that lives like above the store or something. But that I know to someone not in our subculture that these distinguishing things are totally meaningless and unobservable, and that we're the same. And which is not to say that we're all the same, but just like tigers, think other tigers look different, you know, and to us it's all one big thing. So it's funny to think of people like painting these different dividing lines that you're like, oh, that, do you see it that way? Maybe there's something to what you're noticing, but like it doesn't look that way from over here.
You know, I've been going to these bike rides around New York, and I went to Manhattan and I went to Times Square, and it was like I've never seen it so empty. And it was funny, like the one thing I did see there was there were tigers.
Whoa.
Nature really is healing.
Nature's healing. Wow, that's beautiful. What were they doing? Licking their little paws?
They were licking their paws, and they started chasing me. And I was on my bike, luckily, so I outran them handily.
Whoa.
I handily outran them. But nature's healing.
That's beautiful.
Felipe will look at a bunch of tigers and be like, "Oh yeah, those are all tigers." But when I look at a tiger, I see each one as a unique, beautiful, independent woman or man. You know,
Depending on the gender of the tiger.
exactly. And I always gender them correctly.
I think all tigers are very beautiful. A very beautiful animal. It's a very beautiful animal. I love the tiger.
Really nice.
It's
and
really...
then Times
Tigers
Square,
are a really nice animal.
really good.
Really good animal. Damn, tigers they're really, really nice.
And so
beautiful.
Sarah,
They're soft. They're soft, Sam. I'm doing part of the bit. They're soft. They have long tails. They're striped.
I'll allow it.
Yeah.
I'll allow the riff.
They're Tony the tiger. The tiger in Calvin and Hobbes.
Sarah, if I saw you walking down the street and I saw the shirt you were wearing, I'd think, wow, what a beautiful, strong, independent woman.
It's a crop top too, which you can't see.
Well, that changes everything.
I wanted to say one other thing though about making observations about like Biden and his electability based on my social media is it feels like to me when I say that I'm like, whoa, this is like the biggest indicator that like I have personally learned absolutely nothing because like in all the other elections, what the biggest takeaway is like what happens in my little social media universe reflects in no degree any part of reality that turns out to have any meaning. So like I sit here and I'm just like parsing through all the clues and details and trying to piece together like what this all means, and it's like that means absolutely nothing about America. Like I don't know,
Totally.
it's meaningless data.
Totally. Yes. It's like opposite world. You thought that like people wouldn't be able to stomach like hundreds of thousands of deaths because of like a structurally inactive government. No, people think it's cool. People actually like it. People think it's very cool. Everything's the opposite of what you would think.
Everything's the opposite. People think it's a cool lesson about how like life is short and we have to value time while we have it, and like when you survive, you're only stronger. And
Yeah. Like with climate change, like people actually want more oil. When they found out about climate change, they thought, I want to see what that's going to be. That sounds cool.
Yeah, people like cold spring. They want more cold days in May.
How
far can we take it?
What are you thinking, Sam?
Oh, I was thinking, I think this is actually sort of a stupid point to make, but I was like, it's like the reason people think the opposite of like what we think or they think like Biden's okay is because like obviously because there's like this this like multi-billion-dollar media apparatus that like forces people to like think certain ways. But I was like, that's so obvious. I don't want to say that.
Yeah, dude. That's that's what a first grader would say. That's what a first grader would say. And listen, Sam, I just made the Zoom window bigger. Turn on some lights in your room. You look like you're in a cavern. You look like you're a wizard in a cavern.
Felipe, can you take your background down and mute your mic? and
yeah, give me one
and
second.
Turn your volume to 0 and then take your background down.
Yeah, let me just.
Perfect.
Well, do you guys have another bit planned or what now?
No bits planned. No, I'm looking for where Felipe's hid the sticky notes around my computer or walls, and I'm not seeing any.
Fuck. Oh. Well. Oh, I think Felipe's FaceTiming me. Or us. Should we?
I don't have my phone.
I guess I'll answer it. Hey.
Hey, Sarah, am I on speaker?
Yeah.
How's the bid going? Are people liking it? Are people on the comments?
Well, let's see. Someone here said, Sam and Felipe, is it true that your car broke down on the way back from the 2016 Swarthmore Comedy Conference? And can you please tell us what happened in your words?
Who asked that?
Who's asking that?
Proptopolis 1011.
Are you on the chat?
Yes, I am. And then someone else said, hell yeah, funny. So I think they're liking the bit.
Can you ask them who they are?
Who are you, people in the chat?
Wait, I'm gonna
You want to know who this Swarthmore comedy question
go
person
for a
is?
second.
Is this something dangerous? They said, yeah, it's me.
Sam
Someone
left
else
too.
asked, what is the bit? The bit is that Felipe left the show. No Press Radio says the bit's good.
Hey, what's up, Sarah?
Hey.
Sam here as well. That's all.
Oh, you're in Felipe's room?
Yeah.
I wonder what the best way is for me to stream what's happening here, but I'm feeling so confused by this. Yeah, John, I know that's you. Thanks for listening, man. So are you going to answer this question about the Swarthmore comedy thing, or is it something that is going to, like, impugn you guys?
No, there's nothing bad about it. Let me think. What,
Keston.
I remember it as one of the funnest days of that year for me. Yeah, our car broke down. Not our car, but the car that our friend was driving broke down in the middle of upstate New York. And it was incredibly cold. And we spent the next 14 hours trying to figure out how to get back to our homes. And it was mostly Felipe and I laughing at each other. Felipe got into one of his really punchy moods where he was making jokes the whole time. And it was nice.
Oh, it's Keston. Keston's on the chat. I might, I think that this bit was good while it lasted, and it might be cash.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely giving the podcast a different shape in my mind, where I'm like, whoa, we're not hinged to the Zoom call. The podcast can happen anywhere in the world, and we can be doing anything.
No, you're right about that. Multimedia allows us to expand beyond our wildest dreams.
Yeah. I'm going to hold up. Why can't I say? Oh, there you are. I'll hold you up to my camera so that they can see you.
Oh, this is nice.
Isn't that nice? Look, there he is.
Hey,
Felipe.
Hey, Raisin
if people
Nation.
make enough noise, Felipe will come back.
What's up, Raisin Nation?
If people dream and wish that Felipe would come back, he'll come back.
I'm gonna just come back.
Yeah, if you dig up another question from Felipe about Felipe's past and ask it on the chat,
He'll reemerge.
I wonder if once COVID's over and we can actually sit in the same room and do this podcast, whether we'll lose this creative energy from Felipe, or whether he'll double down and become stronger by being in the room with us.
Wait, the Russian dancing that I had put on the stream froze, so I should get back to that.
I think when this is over, I might make different friends and kind of move on to a different creative pasture.
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know why you would need to keep hanging out with us once.
I don't see why.
Will No Press Radio keep happening?
No Press Radio will obviously keep happening because that's a real operation, and the people, the fans, it's a community. A lot goes into and comes out of that.
But
this is...
Sorry, go.
I was just going to say that, when you guys first moved to Brooklyn to do comedy, you weren't friends with me. You had other friends, presumably. But you're really my first friends here, so it's been nice getting to know each other, but probably off.
But I think it'll have to move on, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we were thinking about doing this podcast and talking about it, Sarah said this to me in these exact words, and I'll never forget it. She said, yeah, I mean, I like you guys, and I'm still happy, like, being associated with you guys, so I think it would be fun to do a podcast.
That's right. That's
exactly right. I thought that was a brief glimpse into Sarah's mind, into a dark part of Sarah's mind that I don't ever want to be in again.
I like being associated with you guys. Yeah, I thought I was flattering you because I thought maybe you didn't. I don't know. It just never mind. We just won't talk about it then.
Sarah, my cloud's taking a big hit by doing this with you.
Wow.
No, it's fun. I like it. It's a good. I'm having fun. I have fun.
I like it too.
Yeah, it's a good time.
Anyway,
can I? Have you guys ever given advice that's really bad?
No, I don't. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, sure.
This is like completely out of Felipe's wheelhouse. Like the bit where he turns off his mic and talks on his phone would be like, that's right in his batting zone. Like he's basically he's like a dog. You're like, you've taken a dog to a farm. if he's doing that, basically he's that happy. But if you ask him a question about whether he's ever given bad piece of advice, it's basically like watching a dog try and like operate a spaceship or something like that. It's just it's completely foreign.
Dogs get scared in the spaceship.
Yeah.
Look, Sarah, you go with yours. I'll think on mine.
shit, what was mine? Oh, I've several times had this funny thing of an older woman who thinks that she's my mentor, but she's really someone who I look at as like a cautionary tale of someone never to become or emulate in any way. Like, in college, I was friends with this girl. I won't say her name, even though I'm sure she doesn't follow me on social media anymore. She was like maybe 5 years older than me. She just had the most fucked up, absurd boyfriend in the world who was just a total asshole. And like, they both just had like, spent all their time drinking alone, being sad. And I remember overhearing her at a party tell someone else, like, oh yeah, I've kind of become friends with Sarah recently because like she's a little younger than me and I think she looks up to me and I like kind of like showing her around or whatever. And I was like, oh my God. It was a real wake up call to me that I was like, I need to move on. Yeah. Keep on, find another mentor. Also Caroline Yost thinks that she's my mentor or did for some period of time. And I was like, we're friends from college. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, Sarah, I'm glad you're sharing this as your mentor. I'm gled you're sharing this with me.
Thanks, Sam.
It helps me. Yeah. It helps you understand better how to be a better mentor to you.
Totally. As Felipe and I co-parent you.
It got to a point I had to ask some of my older friends, like Seth. I was like, wait, are we friends or are you my mentor? Do you think you're my mentor? Because it was like a weird slew of people thinking that they were mentoring.
That's really funny, you know, because Sarah, you give off a dual vibe. One vibe you give off is like you're down to hear and give advice and listen. But I think you're also very open with your problems and you share them in a way where you invite sort of conversation about them. And I think you do that because you like to have you like people weighing in on like what you're feeling. But I think that I like to bait other people into sharing their problems so then I can traffic in there. Yes, but to you, it's like people who are really kind of loose with sex. To you, that's a simple, unmeaningful. You're just doing it. But to them, they think, "Wow, Sarah's really getting a lot out of this. I'm really giving her some advice she's
There's
liking."
a part of you that's kind of like a pathetic adolescence that continues on indefinitely, and you just attract like people who need someone to mentee, you know? Yes, they need to serve what they're looking for. They need to feel like they're guiding and advising someone. Yeah, which is absolutely psychotic.
I'm doing I was before COVID, I was gonna do a presentation for like high school. My art teacher from high school was like, "Hey, would you come talk to like my high schoolers about like, you know, your like the art you make or whatever?" And I had prepared a whole presentation and I was excited for it. And then COVID happened, so it was canceled. But now she got back to me and she said, "Oh, we're still doing it just over Zoom. Would you give the presentation?" And I'm gonna do it. I'm like excited for it. It's not as fun to do it not in person, but as I was looking through it, I was just thinking like nothing in the presentation feels weird doing it during COVID. Nothing about the presentation's like wrong. It's not like I started the presentation by being like, "Graduates, you're about to enter one of the most fertile art markets in recent history." Like, I'm not going to do, there's nothing built into it like that where it's like a lie. But simply like talking to high schoolers about the art that I made after high school, it feels like insane. Like, I don't know how to do it in a way where I don't look like totally clueless. You know what I'm saying? Right, because you want to sort of show that you're not... The posturing of being like, "Oh, I know what you should do, and this is how you build a career," is an ignorant thing. But to do the opposite and to be like, "Oh, I don't really know. The future's so unknown," is like, well, then why the fuck are you giving Totally, and I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should, you know, because I could totally be like an edgelord and be like, you know, we're all going to die anyway, so it's not like you're going to get to, you know, I could be an asshole, but that's not interesting. That's like not an interesting position to take. But I also feel weird being like, "So when you guys get to art school, like are any of you thinking of going to art school in the fall?" You know what I mean? Neither of those seems like the right move. And I don't know what to say to them. I don't think you need to like worry too much about situating your speech in like place and time. No, when I graduated high school, it was not so different from what you're dealing with now. The iPad had just come out. And it was all the rage. Drake was at the top of the charts. Yes, COVID has shaken up the whole world. But when I graduated, Daft Daft Punk's Get Lucky had shaken up the music industry.
That's funny. That makes me think. I was doing something like that on Instagram Live like a few weeks ago for like people from my county in Maryland, I guess, and for my documentary producing, I was supposed to talk about my doc career, and the question was like, what should teenagers be doing now? And I was like, oh, you should just be like making your own content because there's no reason not to. You can make something as high quality as like essentially anything being made and put it on the internet. Don't wait around for opportunities. But as I was saying that, I was like, or am I just advising you to do the thing that's going to allow these massive media companies to just like buy all of these young people's work for absolutely nothing? Because like if I imagine a world where like all the Zoomers are creating like cool, meaningful content and putting it out, and then like Snapchat TV is coming along and it's like, yeah, I'll give you $50 for like all of that work. Like it's just going to be a devaluing of people getting production deals and people valuing what they have. And then I kind of was like, oh, so I guess the point is like, well, you make your thing and then you find your audience for it, and that's an end in itself, and it's not about money or career stuff. But then by the time I was like working through all of this verbally, it was just like meaningless advice. I had said absolutely nothing. So
yeah, I think this is related, which is that one thing that made me kind of, I tried to make the presentation not like prescriptive in any way. I'm not like, you should do this. Although there are a few moments where I'm like, this is what I learned from that experience or whatever. But I think it's hard for me to be like, make your own work. Don't wait around for opportunities or whatever. Yeah. Because I guess the obvious thing to say is that like, I had like a sort of privileged position in all of this. Like there were like reasons why I could end up doing sort of the stuff that I did. And I think I remember in high school, art teachers being like, you're about to enter like the most like the most like vigorous art market. Like there's going to be like so many art jobs and like graphic design jobs. And it's like,
I can't believe they would say that. That's
yeah,
funny.
I remember they said that to me like freshman year, like when I was going into high school. And it's like, the secret to that is like almost exclusively class. Like those are jobs. I mean, not like totally, like people can, there are, stories of people sort of overcoming all of those barriers, but like, there's not any advice that I can give that's not where the truth behind it isn't like, oh, the way that you can become like a working artist is to like have a ton of resources and, be middle class. And, I don't know. Maybe I'm being an asshole saying this, but that's how I felt about this presentation.
Yeah, that's funny. Just before we got on this call, I was watching Brad Trimmel's Art World Report, and it was all about like Jerry Saltz and like the advice that Jerry Saltz gives to like young artists, which is all just about like grinding and hustling. And no matter what field you're in, you should be staying up all night talking to people that are in that field, like all this kind of stuff. And it rings so hollow coming from someone who has a job that like does not exist anymore for young people to be able to do. Like to be an art critic at a major publication, like that's not a real job. You have to be an internet writer, freelancer. And like, what does he know about anything that relates to anyone? And he also, not only does he not know, but he continues to like disseminate a worldview that is like totally irrelevant and just make people feel bad when their life like doesn't line up to anything that he's talking about.
Totally. Like we're in this like accidental moment in history where like there can be more than one person in the country making a living as like a movie, like a superstar movie reviewer or something. And like, it's only because like this is such a wealthy country because of like all these reasons that have nothing to do, they're just like totally circumstantial. And
totally,
it's like, yeah,
Felipe,
what's up?
Can you say, what the like lessons are, or the things you learned, like a kind of a quick bullet point summary, unless it would do it a disservice, but I am curious.
Just the big lesson, I guess the big takeaway is like, I used to think it's such bullshit. I feel like lame even saying it. I'm going to feel lame saying it out loud, but I think sometimes like with a TED talk, you kind of have to grit your teeth and sort of say the lesson, even though, there's like all this nuance that you're leaving out. You have to say the lesson. And you have to trust that.
The middle class and resources.
If you want to be an art critic like me, just hustle every night. I'll say it, and maybe I'll
at least give us one.
Maybe I'll grit my teeth and say it, or maybe I'll say why I think it's bullshit. But basically, I was like, I used to think that like what I wanted to do was make art for a living, and that the path to that was making art for free. And that I would make, the path is like making art for free for your friends, and then that leads you into like making art for money and for a lot of people. And that the way I feel now is like, no, the goal is to make art for free for your friends, and then making money is like the means to doing that. It's like inverted.
Mm-hmm. It's like a reframing.
Yeah, that's insightful. I mean,
I think that's useful.
Yeah, it's kind of like what you were saying earlier about people making observations about this type of group of person exists. It's like, to some extent, that as a structure of thinking is useful, and to another extent, perhaps not. Yeah. But
yeah. Well, what you're saying, Felipe, reminds me of this thing that I heard my dad say to me once, which when he was in business school, which was like, this speaker was like, don't think of trying to become rich. Just think of trying to not be poor, which is like a stupid thing to say. And it's like, it's aimed at a group of people who are interested in making a ton of money.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of diabolical, but essentially what's interesting about it is it's like a reframing, and right, it would change someone's actions rather than thinking about, oh, I want to make as much money as I can, to think, oh, how would I want to like either save money or something like that. And that's interesting to me only in that, like, the piece of advice that I would give other people about art making would be sort of a little bit similar to what you're saying, Felipe. Mine would be like, oh, I thought I wanted to make really awesome art or really cool art that would.
But
like,
actually, I want to make shitty art that nobody likes.
Success. Yeah, I want to make dog shit. No, but I think another way of thinking about it is like, the thing that's helped me the most in my arts practice is like having friends, like really smart friends who make art that I like, and being around them a lot. Like, that single-handedly has like affected my life in arts practice, like more than any other thing that I can think of. That's like at least like kind of immaterial. So my suggestion would be like, it's essentially like have friends and like value like your artistic friendships and like invest in those, and you'll like end up making really good art.
Yeah, I probably won't say that during the presentation.
Yeah, well, this is during my presentation too.
Yeah, good luck when you get your presentation.
When you get your presentation.
Bottom line is my presentation's this week, and I probably won't say that advice.
Well, I've read your presentation because you wrote it on the Simple
No!
Town.
Wait, really? Are you joking?
Yeah, I'm not joking. You wrote it on the Simple Town Drive.
So did you set me up for this? You made me say the takeaways even though you'd read it.
No, I don't remember it. I think I glanced at it, but what I remember from it is I remember there was some points about your art practice that I like, but
are you guys excited to have interns in the future? Like interns that work for you?
Yeah, get interns as quickly as possible.
That'd be my advice. Yeah.
Once you get your interns, it's basically it really raises your ceiling for how much you can make. So get as many as you can as quickly as possible.
Right, because what's cool about interns is like it's a really good arrangement because they're looking for experience and you're looking for, like not, you're not looking for free labor, but you're looking to kind of cut costs and you're giving them a lot of value. And so, but actually you end up running a really lean operation on unpaid interns.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. I agree, obviously, with the idea that having unpaid interns is exploitative and totally sucks. But I think it's funny because also unpaid interns are shit. Like I've worked for companies where we had unpaid interns and they weren't worth anything.
Yeah, they just like drain. They drain time.
My time.
Yeah, you have to teach them things. They like get lost in the office.
They have no reason to be creating any value, and I respected them for like refusing to do a good job. I thought that was cool, and I was like, I'm not going to give you a hard time, but you are just wasting time and drinking the water and the coffee and stuff. They go into the stall and they poop, but they don't realize that there's not toilet paper, so the whole office has to like
solve that for
They
them.
take
They're
all
just
the-
totally
They
hapless.
take all the toilet paper and they like
Yeah.
toilet paper your desk and your chair. And they like make fun of you with your employees behind your back. and yeah, they put all
Yeah.
these pranks on you. Yeah, interns suck.
Or I worked for a company once where we would have the interns transcribe stuff, and I think that they would consider themselves to be helping through that. And it was like the work that you spent 5 hours doing that transcribing. If you weren't here, we would have just paid $15 to have the internet do it. Like it's not even.
Ooh, brutal.
Yeah, your time is worth $2 an hour.
Well,
even.
I had a friend in college, and she every time she did an unpaid internship, she at the end of the internship, she sent an email to her boss with all the things she had done during the internship and how much time it took, and then she and said, next time you hire someone, you should pay them to do this.
Wow, that's cool.
Nice.
Yeah.
Punk rock. I did an internship and I did a bunch of work and I didn't like it. And then on my last day, I left without saying anything to anyone.
Felipe, you do that to your best friends
Yeah,
Yeah,
when you're trying to go to bed.
yeah.
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Did we talk about? I wanted to just share this. Did we talk about? I had the hell's itch this week.
Oh, I'd love for you to talk about this. What the fuck?
I got a sunburn on Sunday from biking around, and then it was fine. I was like, whatever. I got a sunburn. People get sunburns. It's fine. I had like a funny farmer's tan. But then Tuesday night, like I started feeling this itch on my arms. I take off my sweatshirt, and then like I started getting this like nonstop itch. It wasn't going away, and if I scratched my skin, it would hurt my skin. And it was like a really strong itch. Like it was making me shudder. Like every time I got like a pang of the itch, I would sort of like wince. And like I couldn't, it was weird. Like I couldn't handle it. Like it was like debilitating. And I was like, how do I make this stop? And like I was desperate to make it stop. And I was like putting lotion on my arms, and like I knew not to scratch it because you're not supposed to scratch an itch or like that kind of an itch. But I was like trying to like knead it with my fingers, with the lotion, and it was like kind of going down a little bit, but like it would just come back. And then eventually I got a bunch of ice. I was like clinking ice cubes into a Ziploc bag and just like writhing. I'll say this last thing. The way it felt was like I wanted. Oh, you're laughing. I know Sam's laughing at me, and I feel like he thinks I'm being a drama queen or something. But you know, whatever.
No,
It's
I bet he does. That's so annoying. Sam, you're like my dad. That's what my dad always thinks.
No,
Anytime anyone's in pain, it's like, oh, I bet if it was me, I wouldn't be that.
No. I think it's funny because I've heard Felipe describe Hell's Ditch a number of times since I lived with him, and I'm laughing because I think it's funny to see you describe stuff, and it has become more dramatic the more
It's true. Well, I'm trying to enhance it. I'm trying to enhance it. I'm trying to make it interesting.
I know. It's like this is like if you were at Omaha Beach during Normandy. Keep
Was
going.
there
though.
a moment in which you fully panicked? You were like, something horrible is
No.
happening.
I mean, yeah, I am being a drama queen in the sense that like I knew I would be okay. In fact, I didn't realize it was something weird until I looked it up. But I'll describe one last thing, and this really did feel this way, where like I wanted to scratch it. It wasn't scratching it wouldn't make it go away, and it felt like the itch was like under my skin, but like I couldn't make it go away. And I put the ice on it, and then I looked it up, and apparently it's called Hell's Itch, and and there's like a Reddit of people who have had it, and they all described the thing that I felt, where they were like, I was freaking out, I was like in pain, like couldn't make it stop, couldn't scratch it, like it really hurt. It like stings. I don't know. It's just like a bunch of feelings. Like it hurts, it stings, it itches. And then I spent the night just like holding ice on my arms because it was like keeping me awake. And I was kind of able to like sleep a little bit. And then it went away. It goes away in like 24 hours. It's not like permanent, but then I talked, and apparently it happens to like 10% of people. Like it doesn't happen to a lot of people. And I talked to my dad, and he's like, oh yeah, I've had that. So maybe it's genetic. He's like, yeah, I know exactly what you're describing.
And have you continued to like message and give back to the Hell's Itch community?
No, I thought about getting on the Reddit and thanking them, or doing a post. Maybe plugging the pod. Maybe plugging Raisin Man on the Hell's Itch Reddit.
Hey guys, Hell's Itch Survivor coming back into the chats. What kinds of cartoons are you guys watching now?
Can I read you? Can I read you some Hell's Itch like posts?
Sure.
Please.
Let's see. Okay, this one is titled Ice Packs. Let me just make sure it's not like streaming on the thing. Fuck. What the fuck did I just do? Hold on. This one's called Ice Packs. First time getting this shit, and oh my god, I want to die. Whoever reads this, don't use aloe vera. A lot of people argued with me about this, but everyone on Hell's Itch Reddit says don't use aloe vera. Made it about 100 times worse. I've taken an antihistamine, ibuprofen, applied some peppermint oil, and have had an ice pack on my back for about an hour. Actually not feeling too horrible right now. How long does this usually last? Don't know if I'd live if it was more than 48 hours. That one's serious.
Don't know if I'd live.
8-hour work shift. Hey guys, I'm going on 24 hours of this nightmare. Slept a total of 2.5 hours last night, waking up wanting to rip the skin off my chest. It itched so bad. I loaded up on Benadryl and ibuprofen, but I have to go to work soon for 8 hours. I'm super anxious that I'll start itching and people will think I'm insane. Has anyone had experience with dealing with Hell's Itch in public? I would not have been able to do that. Let me see. Just had my first experience with this, 32, male. I've had plenty of sunburns before, blisters, chills, etc. This is literally something I would never wish upon my worst enemy. I don't know if I felt that way. I'm 48 hours post-burn and I woke up this morning crying and screaming at the top of my lungs.
Whoa.
Yeah. People were looking at me like I was insane, telling me sunburn can't be that painful. It went away this morning after a shower. Now about 8 hours later, it came back out of nowhere. I made the mistake of putting on aloe because I didn't know what it was or researched it. I literally thought about killing myself. This guy is a little insane. This guy's a little bit extreme.
That guy has other problems, I think, going on as well.
Yes. I mean, I don't know. It was not this intense for me. I've taken another shower now and have found comfort in putting on a Hanes white t-shirt and laying with my back and shoulders against the pillow. I'm afraid to move. I may start drinking massive quantities of alcohol. I also took ibuprofen.
And I woke up this morning and I can't talk to girls anymore.
I might start doing heroin again after 2 days of not doing it. Yeah, insane.
Wow, and these people are suffering in obscurity. No one knows about this. I've never heard of it. It doesn't even sound familiar.
No, well, the Hell's Itch community is quite supportive. And it's funny because it's a community of people who've had this for 48 hours, you know? But once you've had Hell's Itch, next time I see someone who's had Hell's Itch, we're going to look at each other and we'll know.
Wow. And what would you describe as the politics of the Hell's Itch community?
Eco-fascist.
Yes.
Extremely eco-fascist. Oh, this post is just called all in caps. It's happening. Oh no. And there's no text. That's just the title.
Are you scared of getting another sunburn again in the future?
Totally, but I mean, I'm an idiot. I went biking today. I wore like a ton of layers, and it was overcast.
Hot.
But then later, I was looking at my hands, and I was like, "Did my hands get sunburned?" I don't think so. They look fine.
I don't think so. No.
But I wore like a turtleneck and a sweater and a jacket. Like I was clothed. So. But I'm afraid to get it again.
Have you had it before, Felipe?
No. I also don't get sunburns often because I put sunscreen on really reliably.
An animator.
Exactly.
I
don't
get
leave
kidney stones.
You get kidney stones?
Often. Yeah.
Really?
No.
Yeah, and the memories of having them are always extremely mixed because the pain is excruciating. Worst pain I've ever had in my life. But being on Percocet and just taking it all day long is some of the best memories I've ever had. So, it's a real mixed bag.
Let me ask you, if you're on Percocet and you have a kidney stone, do you not feel the kidney stone, or does it just feel like a little ball that's going through your body?
Yeah, like a little gumball that's going down.
Yeah.
One of those tracks.
Whee!
Yeah. You don't feel it at all unless you you don't take the pain medication in time, in which case it doesn't work, which is scary.
Wait, so it's like the offsides rule where if the pain starts before the pain meds kick in, the pain stays?
Yeah. Pain stays pretty much. Yeah, but if you get it before, then you're just on a pleasure cruise, until the whole thing's over.
Wow.
I remember just having a great time watching Star Trek, talking to my dad, caring about things he had to say in a way I hadn't cared before when I was like 16 or something. It was very beautiful, and I cherish that memory.
Damn, I'm afraid. I know I will have a kidney stone someday because both of my parents have had one, but I'm very afraid of getting it. It's like a thing that makes me, like, when I hear about people having kidney stones, it makes me wince.
And you have to pee into like a spaghetti strainer so that you know whether it's come out or not, because you got to catch the little rock.
Really?
Which is annoying. It's gross to pee into stuff and then have a pee covered object that you have to like be involved with. Yeah.
Well, now that you say that, I should let you know, Sam, I have been peeing into the spaghetti strainer. And I haven't been cleaning it.
And have any rocks come out?
No, not yet. I haven't had any pain. I just in case.
It's looking like pee.
And I haven't been telling you.
Damn.
And I've been making my spaghetti on a different spaghetti strainer that I keep in my room.
So that's why all my spaghetti's been tasting so good.
Oh,
Yep. Yeah. This is a comedy podcast.
That's how you do a bit. Twist is different than what the listener would expect. Now I see.
Brother, if you want to taste my pee, you just let me know, and you can taste it anytime.
Surely you don't need to see whether the rock has come out because it will just stop hurting, no? Why do you need to see the rock?
If it's really bad, then you keep taking the medication so consistently that you never feel the pain.
Could the rock be so tiny you don't see it?
It could be so tiny you wouldn't even see it.
but the rock is like spermicide. It's spermaceti. It's like useful for making perfumes and stuff. So
yeah, it's like a pearl. It's a really expensive pearl.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That would be cool if kidney stones were like a beautiful diamond or something.
Yeah, that would be really special.
That would be worth it. Damn, a little rock going through your pee-pee. Could not deal it.
Crazy stuff. It's crazy stuff. All the things that can happen to a person.
Yeah, well, that's that about Hell's Itch. I mean, I haven't felt a lot of pain in my life, except for inner pain. I hope I don't have to feel a lot of pain for the rest of my life, until I die mercifully with no pain.
You should talk about Hell's Itch at your commencement speech.
Oh, I'm gonna speak. Yes, I only have 20 minutes, and I think I could take up the 20 minutes describing Hell's Itch.
That's smart. That's funny. Talk about this. You should talk in your speech about what comes after memes.
What comes after memes?
Yeah.
Damn.
And prognosticate about that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I'd want to know. If I was 16.
It's just memes that are like, how could you go past memes? It's just pictures with text. That's it.
That's it. How could it be funnier? How could it be better? How could it be more important? There's no way.
It's the most basic kind of thing in the world. The most basic kind of thing in the world.
Top and a bottom.
Yo, I got something. China is about to fuck Hong Kong.
Who told you?
They're about to bring down the hammer on Hong Kong.
Oh no! Fuck.
Who told me? The internet.
Yeah,
it's well known. They're passing some law, and they're just gonna fuck Hong Kong.
Is there some kind of number that we should call?
There ain't no senator you can call about this cupcake. Yeah, I mean you can ask Trump to start a war with China.
I'm gonna call Cuomo.
We can see if we can
message on his answering machine.
We can see if we can pop off a little war with China if we're concerned about it. Could be worth it.
Sarah, what part of the military would you join were the war with China to happen?
Archery.
Yeah, you'd be like a hot elven archer.
I did archery at summer camp, so I already kind of have the basic training for it.
Watch me at the top of a hill, wearing like magician's robes, casting spells. I'm a mage casting protective spells on the Marines.
Yeah.
Damn, imagine if if the army did have like mages and shit like that.
Then people would want to fucking join. They'd appeal to a whole other subgroup of people.
You'd have way
I was
too many
imagining-
mages, though. You'd have way too many mages.
I was imagining
No one
you
wanna be a
being a kind
dwarf.
of like a Las Vegas style, like entertainment magician.
Oh, yes. Is this your card? Or like doing
exactly.
yes.
Yeah, pulling coins from behind people's ears.
like Penn and Teller getting
yeah.
shot and then catching the bullet between my teeth and then explaining how I did it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You would take a Chinese couple that was like hanging on by a thread. Their marriage is hanging on by a thread, and they've gone out to some live theater together. And you take the man up on stage, and you kind of humiliate him by like making his underwear like come out of a box that you like had.
Yeah. Sort of slowly eat them up from the inside.
My youngest cousin's Marine commissioning ceremony was like happened virtually like 2 days ago, and I watched it, and it was like it was in his living room. You know, the way they had edited it was like every Marine is just with their parents, and their parents get to commission them since they can't meet up in real life. And it was such a like happy ceremony, and I was so glad for him. But I was like, damn, it's gonna be a sad day when you're like gunning down all of my like draft dodging friends as soon as there's like a war and no one that I know wants to fight in it.
Big time. Big time.
Yeah, sucks.
Big time. Yeah, it's gonna be a bummer when they're marching through the streets, through New America,
Yeah.
through the Trump Republic of Trump. Would you flip flop if that happened? Would you become a collaborationist?
What exactly
With
is
the
happening?
state?
Can you describe the bit a little
What
more?
side am I on? And then which
I don't know. There's like
I'd flip flop for less. Yeah.
You'd flip
I'm
flop
just
for
trying
less.
to get by and sing my song and be with the people that I love, man. So that's all there is left, right?
Yeah. Peace and love. It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. It's like, can I do stand up? Sure.
No.
I'll be
then
an eco-fascist.
I don't care what happens.
Yeah.
I'd kind of be like a sort of like wage a Mel Gibson patriot, like guerrilla style warfare in the like swamps of Georgia against whatever force we were fighting.
So are you pro the bad government, or are you being a resistance guy?
I guess I'm being a resistance guy, but I think it would be equal opportunity. You'd be
You'd be a mercenary.
absolute chaos. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. The Joker, the sort of like the kind of an imp running
you
around the
guys seen
battlefield.
The Patriot, the movie.
No, what is that?
Yes. Years ago. Yeah.
Oh, there's just a funny detail, which is Mel Gibson is like a plantation owner in the South during the American Revolution, and he has like black people who work on the farm, but they're like free people, like they're not his slaves. It's completely unrealistic.
Ahistorical. Yeah. Yeah, that's funny.
And he tries to tell them to go, and they're like, "We like working for you," and it's like, this is insane that this got made.
There's more people
Yeah.
in my yard swinging on my
You
hammock.
think there's gonna?
and I just feel like
I think
set up
movies
a
are
little
over.
house and they're all playing in it now.
They're not gonna make any more movies. I hope you enjoyed watching The Patriot whenever you saw it, Sam, because that's the last movie they're gonna make.
No, it was just last night.
Yeah, that's the last movie they're gonna make. Damn, we saw Minority Report the other day. Wait, is Sarah here? She's frozen.
Yeah. She's frozen with a face of like detest.
No, I actually think it looks placid.
Really?
Like she's happy. Yeah, like she's finally found peace.
Huh. I think, yeah. Wow. I guess it shows you just how ambiguous, though, the face can be. Oh,
It's true. Oh, she's gone
the
now.
host is gone. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
We got 15 more minutes. I say we kind of juice them. Let me see if I hope I've been recording. I think I've been recording my voice. Yeah, we're good.
Do we do an hour and 15?
Yeah,
I mean, an hour 30. That's our time.
that's usually what we do. Do you want to do less? We could. I feel like at around an hour, this starts losing steam and starts getting less fun.
Why?
Huh?
Has it been things I've been saying?
Yeah, I think you just have been dropping the ball. Once you say, "Oh, there's Sarah.
Hey,
She's
Sarah.
back."
Yeah. Oh, I'm so glad the chat continued because it's on my computer and I got fucked up that you guys would all be gone.
No, we're here. We kept talking. We kept it moving. No dead air, baby.
Oh, well, did I get to... I don't think you heard what I said, which is that there's more people in my backyard now, and they're on the hammock, and I just feel like they're my little dolls in my dollhouse playing with them, all the little stuff I bought for them.
That's really funny.
Very sweet. But I'm not going to look, because it's like, you're not supposed to look, because if you look at it and you see your dolls, then they have to freeze, and stop playing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like when Orpheus is escaping the underworld. Don't look behind you, because
Exactly.
they'll disintegrate. Social distancing icon.
Orpheus.
Orpheus.
Yes, social distancing icon.
Yeah.
I've just going around looking at things that are far away from each other, taking a picture, posting them with the subtitle "social distancing icon."
That's funny. That's a funny bit. I
I
like
think that's
that.
funny. If only I could think of an example of it that heightens or twists it in some way.
2
I
fire
wanted to-
hydrants, 2 clouds,
Yeah.
really anything that's
Two
far away.
bodegas that are across the street from each
Exactly,
other.
exactly.
Yeah.
2
I wanted
statues.
to. I was recently outside the huge Biggie Smalls mural that's in Bed-Stuy.
Is it the
and-
one that's on near Lafayette? That's like king of the New York slice.
Oh no!
That's really,
Famous pizza lover, 50 Cent and Biggie Smalls.
yeah, it's like kings of the
They're
new
both-
NYC slice, and it's like Biggie Smalls. So what about it? What about the mural?
I just thought about taking a picture of it being like social distancing legend, but I was
Yes,
like,
yes, yes.
I heard that from Felipe. That's Felipe's joke, so I didn't.
Let me ask you this: what would the joke be? That he's dead?
No, you just take a picture of Biggie Smalls' mural and be like a social distancing legend. And
What
it's
would-
funny
Yeah. What's
It's
the
funny
point of the
What's the
joke,
joke?
though?
So then what's funny about it?
because he's not a social distancing legend. That's not why he's famous or on
It's
a
a
mural.
simple reversal, sort of a level 1, or...
It's not. I mean, it doesn't. But he's not especially known for not being a. You know what I'm saying? He's not known for being a person that stood close to other people.
So I guess
Sure.
that falls under category of just funny because it's random, which is the lowest
No,
level.
Funny
I
'cause
think
it's a
fu-
lie.
It's funny to take
Yeah.
a historical figure and just make them write a new history in which they're famous for something they didn't do.
Yeah, but
You know?
the joke
I
isn't
didn't know that
funny.
was
The
funny.
joke isn't funny if it's not hitting some specific truth. There's no truth
know-
in the joke.
But Felipe, when you first did the joke, at least in my ears, when we were outside of the New York what's it called, the courthouse, the state courthouse, and you were like looked up at the statues and you were like, social distancing legends, and it was like Socrates and Plato and like all these
That's funny.
these things from Greek mythology. I was like, oh, that's funny because it's like these people aren't famous for being social distancing legends, and so it's funny to ascribe something to a person from history that they didn't do.
No, but
So I
Sam,
thought-
the reason the fucking stream is stuttering apparently.
Oh no! And for 2 of our most important listeners,
Oh,
Kenton and
my
No Press Radio Station,
Keston.
Keston,
Yes.
thanks for listening.
Well, let us know if now I stopped recording, which is sometimes what makes it do that. But please let me know if it does. Yes, but Sam,
Felipe,
let me
you're
say
going to describe to me that the joke is because they were standing far apart from each
Yeah.
other.
exactly,
Because there's statues that are far
exactly, bitch.
But
Yes,
in my
bitch.
head,
Exactly.
in my head, it's
You already
funny
got the
because-
answer you
No,
needed.
no,
Why are
no,
you
no,
Why
no,
are you
no,
digging
in
in
my
more?
head it's funny.
No,
it's my
no, no.
in my head it's funny is because they're philosophers from antiquity.
Sam, I don't know how you did stand up for 2 years.
Felipe, let me tell you this: if I had posted it, I
Fuck.
think I would have gotten a lot of likes.
Yeah,
For the reason that
from
Felipe said.
from basic lames, brother. Hold
No,
the phone.
the Biggie Smalls poster.
Oh, the Biggie Smalls one. No, it does make sense.
No, they would have said
Oh,
they would have
yeah.
canceled you for doing that. You would have gotten canceled for doing that.
I disagree.
Well, we got 10 more minutes. I'm gonna see if I can make it stop stuttering. Yeah, it's a smooth
Yeah,
5-10
it's-
seconds and then completely frozen for the next 5 seconds.
Interesting.
Maybe.
Well, who's Tokyo Megaplex? That's a cool user.
He's a friend.
Cool.
Fuck.
Cool.
Chris Rutledge, good animator. Damn. We got 3 viewers, and I want to come through for them, but let me. You guys keep
My
talking.
computer says
I'll
we have 7.
I'll figure this out. You guys keep talking.
What do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I'll talk about something about comedy. I've been trying to. I already told this to Felipe, but I can't remember if I told you this, Sam. But I'm gonna record. I really dawned on me that we're not gonna be able to do stand up live in person for an unforeseeably long amount of time, and I'm gonna record an album with no audience of some jokes that I wanted to do because I was working on having an hour, so I'm just gonna record the hour. But I'm just like stuck on both that I don't want to make every joke be related to COVID because that would be dry and lame and extremely dated and no one is interested in that, but also to not have it be like somehow related to coronavirus and have it just be like my normal stuff about like Friday night plans and hanging out with your friends and when your friend says this and like it just feels out of touch and irrelevant in a way that like stand-up comedy speaks to both like a live room and like the news of the day and is a dynamic medium. So I don't know.
Yes, and also that's also the thing that that hurts it and makes it like exist only as a capsule in time that you can't go back to. So maybe you're making a kind of comedy that's like people can watch and listen to for years and years,
Yeah, I don't know. So I wonder if it's just as easy as like making the first joke be about coronavirus and then I'm free to not talk about it at all, or I'm not sure what to do.
I think you'll figure it out. Oh,
yeah.
Fuck, the stream is still fucked.
You could do a Stuart Lee thing where you could make like talk about how you feel obligated to talk about it in your stand-up bit, but don't want to do jokes about it.
I'll pause also to say that's my least favorite kind of advice is what Felipe just gave, which is like, you'll figure it out. Obviously, I'll fucking figure it out, dude. What life am I going to live where I don't figure it out?
I'm just trying to be helpful, Sarah. I'm just trying to be helpful. If you don't want my advice, don't ask for it, as you did just before.
I thought you were doing something else. I wasn't talking to you. Yeah.
Fuck.
Wow.
Everybody, dang,
our shit is sunk.
The stream, yes, the stream is hit. We are hit.
He said,
it's just catching up in English. You want to say?
Alex, what are you talking? What is that? What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, and I don't want to say this, but it's like at this point,
we just have to cut our loss.
Can you say, listen, you're shit out of luck?
Listen.
What if every podcast ended when you got technical difficulties? Like, that's how it ended. Sometimes it would go on for hours, sometimes 10 minutes.
And and we have this kind of dual audience problem, which is that we're really ultimately we're recording for to put it out. So so now all this energy is being taken up by the problem of getting the live to work, and it's going to be in the recorded thing for when we post
Surely,
it.
yes. This kind of relates exactly to what Sarah was talking about is, do I make it timely or do I make something that can be listened to for years afterwards?
For years.
Yeah, I think you'll figure it out.
Don't fucking talk to me. Yeah, I don't want to hear a word on it. Yeah.
No, I mean, what can I say?
Oh, I think it'll be okay. Yeah. Well, what if it's not okay?
Listen,
dude? What if it's not okay? What if it's not okay?
Listen. My mind was split because I was solving this problem, but I'll tell you what was behind my saying. I think you'll figure it out, which is that I actually think that the project, whatever you do, is going to be really good. What I'm trying to say is like I'm excited to hear it, and I'm excited to hear you solve that problem because I think you will be smart enough to know how to do it, and I'm not saying like you should. I'm not giving you. I'm just like I'm stoked to see how you solve it. I think it's an interesting problem you're dealing with.
So you're saying the same thing. You're saying the same thing, but sort of cushioning it with
turning it into some gas up version.
I'm not giving you advice. I'm telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I feel about
inside myself, and that I have all the answers I need. Yeah.
Exactly. You should just make it about COVID. There's your advice.
People want to talk about COVID. People want to talk about social distance. People want to talk about they're lonely. Yeah, we should talk about that Atlantic article that says either you're in a relationship or you're all alone. Not
and there's no in between. That's not true.
Well, we got 5 minutes. I think we can read the whole article on this live.
Yeah.
You're either in a relationship or you're not.
Or you're totally... The article was about how the gulf between singles and couples has never been greater, and that there's no longer any in-between space for people. You're either like wifed up or you're alone. Not the case. Not the case.
Not the case. Not the case.
Yeah.
Think of a couple people in my life when that's not the case.
Oh, yeah. You can say that again.
You could say that again.
Man.
Well, this is cool that our listeners really stuck with us, even though it's all jacked. I think that's what makes me feel like we're a family.
Yeah, people really commit to it, even though they're happy to watch this glitch mob slideshow.
We are creating
this
a community
glitch circus.
like No Press Radio or the Hell's Itch community.
Yeah.
You know, it's starting small, but it's going to get bigger.
Yeah. Or the community of people who are fans of what's the lady's name who's on The Incredible Kimmy Schmidt? What's that actress's name? With the red hair.
The main person?
The main person.
I'm blanking on her name.
I can't think of her name, but she's got a community of people who just love feeling
Lauren.
good and holding dogs.
For real?
Yeah. She's like, for some reason, she's become this icon of like self-care.
Ellie Kemper.
Ellie Kemper, yeah.
For real? Is she like a self-care person or something?
I don't even think she disseminates it necessarily, but for some reason she's like that. I remember when I was in middle school, there was a big movement of people who were into just be happy, just smile.
That's funny.
And she's like the icon for those people now, and like just hold a sweet little dog by your face. How could you be sad when you think about a little baby duck? How could you be sad?
I don't want to be like mean or anything, but the picture, if you look her up on Wikipedia, the picture that they chose to represent her is, I don't think that it's like a super flattering picture.
Wikipedia is funny since it's just like a computer algorithm. It doesn't pick your best. It just picks something.
Oh, for real? I thought that like the Wikipedia editors pick one.
No, I think there's
Yeah.
just a code that just picks something off of your...
Are you sure? Because I've heard them do posts where they ask people to take pictures of stuff because they can't use like proprietary pictures. What's the actress's name?
Ellie Kemper. Yeah, you're right. This is a horrible picture of her.
It's bad, right?
My God, yeah.
It's like the light, she's sort of in the shadow, but actually her face is like weirdly like lit, even though her face is in the shadow. And
I think I wouldn't even know that was her if I just saw this. Like that.
No, totally. It's a really bad photo. And she's like in front of... Are you looking at it, Sam?
Yeah.
And she's like in front of a street. Like there's like cars and bikes behind her.
And she's dressed in a gown. Yeah.
She's dressed in a gown, but you don't know why, because she's just like on some Manhattan street. And her like, she's just shiny in a weird way.
The Wikipedia page for LeBron James, he's playing a violin.
For real?
Yeah.
Damn. Let me look that up.
I think one of my little people in the backyard has lost something, and they're using
it changed.
a cell phone flashlight to find it on the ground. I'm gonna come out with my big flashlight and help them when we're done.
Sorry, I'm just talking to the people in the chat and telling them that they're shit out of luck.
Yeah.
At this point, I don't think, we got a minute left of this. That's
got
too
a
bad
minute
there's not a
left.
picture of him. Oh, but we can look through the history of the article, I believe. How do we look at the history of the article? More view history. Let's find this picture of LeBron James playing the violin. Damn, it's unreadable. It's just like letters and writing. I don't know how to find... Man. I feel kind of not great today. Now. I don't feel great right now.
Oh.
Is it how the podcast is going?
No, it's not about the podcast. No, I'm happy about the podcast.
Something in your personal life?
I just think that, I feel a little bit, like, not good about my body. I'm afraid that I'm, like, having a little fear of getting COVID. And I just don't feel like I look good. That's all. I'm just having some of that dysmorphia.
Well, I should have said it earlier when it would have been meaningful, but when we first got on the call, I was like, today Felipe really looks good.
I appreciate that. I
Yeah.
appreciate that.
You do look good, Felipe.
I mean,
Thank
now
you.
you're so much behind the mic that we see all
Yeah,
the
it's hard to
inches of
see
your
you.
face. Yeah.
And whenever you lean to at least my left, a towel briefly popped into view.
Yeah.
Like it's walking towards you like a murderer.
Yeah. All right,
I feel-
we're at. What's up? What's up? Say it.
I was gonna say I feel a little sad. I've been trying to finish this screenplay. That more and more I was like, oh, I was based on something from my life, and now it's just like exactly several episodes from my life, and it's a sad memory, and it makes me sad to write it, even though it's what I want to work on. So
I didn't know you were writing a screenplay.
I have been for a long time. I try not to talk about it because I think it's embarrassing to talk about something that you're never
I really
finished.
can't believe you've never talked to me about it. Look, I think we should just talk about this when we're done because we've
Because we're done.
we've cashed it. We've totally cashed it. Let me just find the Full House trap remix.